Hi, this is Katie with Pink Polish Design, and today I have a new watercolor time lapse for you called Octopus Traveler. It's been a while since I drew an octopus, so I thought this would be a fun one to record for a time lapse. And I want to talk a bit about a style spectrum and a little bit about how I found my own style. So, word of warning, I am recording this on the 4th of July, which is probably a horrible time to be recording a narration, so any explosions you hear in the background are just fireworks. No worries. Okay, so what is a style spectrum? Well, a style spectrum is my belief that all of us as artists fall on a spectrum. And all of those styles are very valid forms of art. They're just all a bit different. And maybe this is my own internal justification as to why I am so in awe of different types of styles and why it's okay that my work doesn't look like that. So I have this belief that there is a spectrum starting at kind of cartoon-like illustrations all the way to realism. Things like Leonardo da Vinci and Botticelli, amazing realistic paintings. There's some great artists out there that do amazing realistic portraitures in pencil and charcoal and all sorts of mediums. Now, my own style falls somewhere in the middle. I like to have a very illustrative look to my work. I like it to look like you tore a page out of a storybook. That is my goal in my style. Now, that means that I give up parts of that realism. My goal is not to have it look exactly like real life. In fact, I like working in an element of fantasy to it. On the other hand, it's not especially cartoony either. It is a blend in the middle, and that's okay. I have the utmost respect for those that do cartoons and these caricatures and amazing imaginative pieces of work that way. So, how did I find my style? Well, as most of you probably already know, I drew a lot over the past year, and that helped me find my style. I also took time to look at the pieces that I was the most happy with and decide what elements in those pieces really made that piece special and important to me. That helped me define what I wanted to duplicate in my future works, what bits and pieces of those illustrations I wanted to emulate throughout my work. Now, it's also important to really expose yourself to a lot of art as well. You may find bits and pieces of technique and artistic style in other artists that you want to absorb into your own style. And you can't do that unless you really look at a lot of great art and really study how they did those things. There's some artists that are some of my favorite. For a long time, I've been a huge fan of Gustav Klimt's work, and something I would love to do more of and haven't really had the tools yet, but I would love to work in more metallics in my work. I think you also see some of my emulation of his style in the colors and the vibrancy in my work. Not necessarily that I draw figures the same as him or that I choose the same subject matter. I also love the work of Alphonse Mucha, which is a more recent discovery, but his work is incredible, and I really want to do more of that Art Nouveau style of work. So we'll see where that takes me in the future. But at the core, there are certain ways that I have learned to express things like the skin of an octopus. I have a very definite way I do that, and that identifies it to others that this is one of my pieces of work. I also have a very interesting way of expressing hair and fish scales and the way I draw eyes on people. All of those things are unique to me, and any one of those things might be in somebody else's work, but the combination makes it mine. So I believe that's how you determine your style. That's not to say that emulating other styles or that working on techniques is not important. I still sit down frequently and try to draw a picture from reference as close as I can. That's just good practice, despite the fact that my style is probably looser than someone who draws in realism. It actually strengthens my style to take a more realistic approach sometimes. And on the flip side, it's also very important for me to tie in those imaginative links. So sometimes it's okay to sit down and draw something in a much more loose style than I'm used to draw something very cartoony straight out of my imagination. Again, that's going to strengthen my style and reinforce where my style falls on that style spectrum. I also believe that our style changes with time. We grow and learn new skills as artists, and so how I express something this year may not be the same way I draw something next year or the year after. I'm constantly looking for ways to learn more skills, as I'm sure you are as an artist, whether it's through education and formal classes or experimentation. And then also here on YouTube, watching videos of how other artists create their works of art is incredibly inspiring and educational. And of course, practice is also a very important part of this process. Solidifying the way you do things uniquely and building your skills in the medium you work with so that you are an expert with your materials. That's another thing that all of us do uniquely. We all combine our own materials, and it doesn't matter the cost or the quality of the materials. It's that unique combination that you put together that really affects what your outcome is. I've seen some incredible artwork drawn on coffee cups and scraps of paper, and that artist used supplies unique to them. It could have been a ballpoint pen, or it could have been a very fancy metallic pen. Those are things unique to that artist and a medium that they are comfortable using. So if you're out there still looking to find your style, know that it doesn't have to be either realism or cartoon. It can be somewhere in the middle, and that's okay. And practice and look at other artists' work and learn as much as you can about the medium you choose to work in. So I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. Art prints of this piece are available on my shop online, as well as the original, which is framed and ready to put on your wall. And if you get a chance, check me out on Patreon. I have great benefits there, as well as post daily on my Patreon account. And lastly, if you like this video, give it a quick thumbs up and subscribe to see more. Thanks!